And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, John the Pug Thompson.
100% agree.
And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
All right. Yep, we are live. It is the Weighing In Podcast. Tuesday night. This is our night now. We are always live about 9:30 p.m. Eastern. And it's time to get busy because my man has been doing nothing. He has been just traveling around, vacationing, doing nothing, man.
What are you talking about, man?
Well, you know what? I don't want to make it feel like it was painful.
I drove 24 hours basically to Northern California, 9 hours down to San Diego, or 8.5, and then 19 hours back to Texas.
Is it good to be home?
It's so nice to be home. I got home. We had to get home now because there's a storm brewing coming in.
Trust me, afternoon. It's cold
tomorrow night. I mean, it's hot, John. It's like 19 degrees outside right now,
dude. I had to put up an entire fucking a structure of whatever, a fucking goddamn fucking walk-in shed for my goddamn bulls because I moved into a different pasture and they didn't have anything to go into. They didn't have the same protections they had before. So I was out there pounding 6x6 post in and putting up stuff and got them a nice little structure, put it all the hay in. They're in there all nice and cozy and warm now because it's cold. Well,
you know what? I'm coming to smash our comment section tonight. So you guys about to be ready, man. Ooh. I know I've already seen In the Granite 617. Appreciate you being a member. In the Granite 617. Thank you for the cash.
In the Granite.
Yeah,
that's mean.
I know. He's been a member for 2 months, man. You guys can join up for our membership program. There's a $4.99 membership and a $1.99 membership. Obviously, the $4.99, we do the bonuses and giveaways, which I have to mail out some element that we promised some people over the holidays.
Have you still not mailed that out?
Well, I was traveling, man. I was going to carry element around in my back pocket.
Dude,
I've been gone for 2 weeks.
Dude, you're like the fucking Pony Express.
Slow. Really slow. Really slow. But John, we got a lot to talk about, man. And hey, this episode is brought to you by OnlyFans.
Oh, there you go.
There we go. Got a little OnlyFans shirt going on. And
I'm too old to wear that kind of shirt.
I don't know if you are.
I am.
I don't know. I think it's more right up your alley, man. You're the generation that's on there.
John, you got to ask them for an alternative shirt that doesn't say OnlyFans. It says Oldie Fans.
Yeah, there you go. I could have one that says only old fans.
So obviously,
instead of OF, it's OOF. There you go, baby.
The best hydration drink around. Man, I took a case of it with me to Kellen's lacrosse tournament, and they tore it up, man. The boys were tearing it up. They played really well. We had a great tournament. Came up short in the semifinals. Ended up winning third place. But the two teams ahead of us are actually higher ranked national teams. So, but they had a really good. They played their asses off. They did a great job. Had a great 3-0. They were 4-0 on Saturday. Went into the semifinals as the number 1 seed. Just came up short in the semifinals, and then in the third place, fourth place game, pretty much dominated. It was a good game. So, but it was the chemistry they got to work on a little bit. They've had a couple kids because it's the national team, so they got a couple kids from Oklahoma, from Pennsylvania, from Houston, from different areas of the country. And so we went out, we played over in California, played some West Coast teams, this was North NDP South, so it was like all the southern states combined for his club, and they put together a good national team. They had a good team, man. They had a great team. So played their asses off. It was, man, I got to be honest. We were their first game. I know I'm getting off course of MMA, but their first game was 2-0 with a minute and a half left. This is why I think lacrosse is starting to take off. It was 2-0 with a minute and a half left. The other team scored. Then Kellen's team was making subs, and they were struggling to get the kids off and on.
They didn't cover.
So delay a game. Other team gets the ball, runs down less than 30 seconds, shoots and scores, tied up. We've been leading 2-0 the whole game. And so it's basically tied up 2-2.
Doesn't matter how long you've been winning. It's all who's winning at the end.
Doesn't matter. And the 2-0 lead is the worst lead in sports.
Yeah.
Is to have. It's so difficult because once they score 1, it's easier for them to score 2. Literally, like we go into the overtime, first face off, we win the face off, run it down, one pass, boom, shot, score. Within 5 seconds to 8 seconds, we've already won the game. It was but it was that last minute,
a little stressful.
Last minute and 38 seconds was so stressful. I was like, there's no way we're going to lose to this team. And it was intense, man. So it was good. We sure know how to make the game interesting. But then the next 2 games were pretty one-sided, dominated both of them. Next 3 games, sorry. They had 4 games on Saturday. That's a lot. So, Kellen actually woke up in the morning on Sunday. We did a quick little 15-minute run, and his legs were a little sore.
He's like, Dad, I'm sore. Why?
Yeah. At that age, they don't realize.
They don't get sore.
They don't get sore. And so when your son wakes up and he goes, hey, man, my legs are sore. Like, they feel a little, I'm like,
they feel a little heavy.
Shake it out. So we ran him for about 15 minutes. Had him do like 2 sprints to open up his lungs. And then we got a good breakfast and headed out to the field. So good for them, man. It was a good tournament. Looking forward to. We have another one in June, end of June in Pennsylvania that we got to head out to. So that'll be good. That'll be good.
Way up there.
But hey, if you guys are in the comment section, man, make sure you hit us up on the super chats. I want to thank you guys so much. We're going to be answering a lot of questions. We'll be talking about a lot of things going on. So, Dave, why don't you tee us up on what is going on right now?
Yeah, so let's look at the first one here. We got Islam fight coming up next week at UFC 311, Armin Sorokian, and if he wins that fight, he'll be tied with Usman for 15 consecutive wins in the UFC. If he surpasses that, he gets to 16, he ties Silva, and if he obviously surpasses that, he takes the most. So I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on...
All you're doing is throwing bad juju everywhere with what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
Just bad juju.
What? Where's the bad juju coming from?
You start talking about breaking records. It's like pitching a no-hitter, man. You just don't talk about
No one talks to the pitcher.
Hey, that's made headline news on MMA Junkie. They wanted to point it out, so I thought it was noteworthy for you guys to look at it and just look at the 2 away from kind of taking that number 1 spot, right? Where does that put someone like Islam, who they always argue him and John Jones pound for pound, but in terms of legendary status, I mean, it's got to mark legendary status at that point, right? Where does it kind of put him in the overall picture if and when he surpasses that?
I want to know how. I guess John Jones's his disqualification loss to Matt Hamill. I guess where did that happen? Somewhere around his 11th or 12th fight, and then he's got what? He's got to be close to that too.
No, but they're talking about the no contest don't count. It's consecutive.
No contest doesn't impact it, but disqualification does, because that's
the disqualification was. I don't think a no contest does, because it's undefeated. So I don't think that does affect it. So how many does he have up there, Dave?
So I'm counting
That's
here.
way too small for me to be able to read that. I've got it zoomed out because I'm just trying to count. That's okay.
2, 4, 6, and then he has a no contest. I guess that is being counted here. 2, 4, 6, no contest, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 19.
Yeah, see, it's not being counted.
Yeah, so that's why
the no contest breaks up the consecutive, because you really got to consider it on why he did. Why was it a no contest?
Why was it?
What? I mean,
was that picograms?
Wasn't it dick pills? I mean, it's something you shouldn't have taken. So I mean, it's a no contest. So it's a consecutive. That's what I thought. I always thought to myself, John Jones has got to have the record, but you have to think that it's because of the no contest that it's been broken up. And is it 1 or 2 no contests?
1 no contest.
Well, one was yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, 1 no contest, and then he has a loss to Mark Hamill, the DQ.
That's Matt Hamill.
Matt Hamill. What did I say, Mark Hamill?
You did.
Same thing. Starts with an M.
No, one's an actor, one was a fighter.
Look, I guess to get into this is Islam. You are throwing some juju on this by talking.
Man, I'm telling you, it's just bad juju.
And it's funny because I always think that this opponent right now to me is going to be the hardest opponent he's ever faced. And everyone thought it'd be Charles. Everyone thought it'd be somebody, someone along the line would be his hardest opponent. Nope. I think that the way that Armand throws recklessly, he throws hard and aggressively, leads him into his takedowns. Like, those are shots that Islam, he hasn't faced anyone that had to really threaten a takedown against him. And that's how those hands end up dropping to stuff takedowns. And then that's how you end up getting caught. The hesitation, that split hesitation, is how you can get caught. I just think that right now, Islam's operating on all cylinders. The confidence is definitely key. He understands that, look, this will be my toughest opponent. I think that's why Habib is there in Las Vegas with them. He's been with them every single day for the last, I think, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. They've been putting in
which
a ton
is
of
a
work.
huge confidence
huge.
builder for Islam.
Yeah, because he
Huge.
understands that the double leg takedown, which is more of what Habib does. Body lock and double leg takedowns is more what he does. That's what Sarukian does. So dealing with someone who shoots a lot of double legs, dealing with someone who can transition from single to doubles, then mix and push to the fence and lift and scoop. That's what you're dealing with. And so look, when Habib's been doing interviews, he's like, look, he's doing really well. He feels really good. Like, when he's dealing with someone like Habib, who's probably pushing 195, maybe closer to 200,
205.
And the only difference will be is that the speed won't be there. But don't think that they don't have other guys that can emulate what he can do, what Sarukian can do in terms of wrestling as well as striking. So I'm looking forward to this. There's a lot of young talent that comes out of there that we've never even heard of in the Nurmagomedov gym. That is probably, I don't want to say just as good, but they have all the same attributes that Sarukian has to offer. So he's been training with the best guys. He's got all the guys he needs around him. They've made sure that they've stayed on the West Coast time zone, with Vegas, and just making sure that they can adapt to where the fight is. So he's going to be fine. He's going to be fine. It is going to be his toughest fight. I'm going to say that. And so bringing this up right now does make you feel like you're sprinkling some bad juju on it. It really does. And when people start comparing, I'm like, look, it's got the one with Usman. And then after that, it's going to be Anderson. John, do you put him in that category, though, of being the GOAT if he is able to get to 16 or up in that conversation at least?
I mean, if you're going to sit there and say, is he one of the best? Is he one of the best lightweights that's ever been? Yeah, no doubt about it. Is he one of the best fighters that the UFC has had? Yeah, if he gets through exactly this and gets through this fight and wins 2 more, yeah, no doubt about it. Again, there's that one guy that's out there I don't care if he's got the no contest because they took the fight away from him. And I don't care about the disqualification because he was kicking his ass. It's going to be very difficult for anyone to get that GOAT status, if you want to say it. It's really the only way you can fucking sit there and say anything about John not being it is because you're saying, I'm going to put an asterisk next to his name. Okay. I don't have a problem if someone does that. That's fine. Go ahead.
What's the asterisk for?
The asterisk is for he has had issues with, performance enhancing drugs. He's had issues with other kind of drugs. He's had a lot of, things that people on the outside of the cage that they don't like and stuff. So they're always going to put an asterisk next to him based upon personality and things like that, and things that he's done that they don't like, that they don't think are fair. And that's okay.
You don't think it's because of the inactivity? He's had 1 fight in 4 years. I think it's because of 2 fights right now.
Inactivity has nothing to do with the record that he has.
No, I understand that, but John, the inactivity has something to do with whether you keep him in that pound for pound.
Whoa, I'm not talking about pound for pound here.
Okay, that's what it sounded like you were talking about.
No, I'm not talking about pound for pound. I'm talking about greatest of all time. And that's going to be very hard for anyone to pass up, actually, if you're going to look at it and say, tell me who was the better fighter ever than John Jones. That's going to be tough. Now, if you get pound for pound has to do with time in your career. And right now you could sit there and say, is John Jones a better overall fighter than Islam Makhachev? Maybe not. He might not be. And Islam might be the right person for pound. If you ask Dana White, he doesn't believe that. He thinks, if he's the greatest of all time, he's the best pound for pound. Okay. Either way, it's fine. But I look at it and say, man, I hate putting the juju on him. But yes, if you take a look at where Islam's at, this is his most difficult fight coming in that he's had. Now, I'm not going to say in his fighting career because he's already fought him once, but as the champion, I actually think this is his most difficult competition just due to the stylistic matchup.
Oh, absolutely. I would agree with you. Dave, do you have any early odds on this fight?
For which fight?
On the Islam. Sorry, we'll pass on that. We'll move on. We'll talk about the odds when it comes to the main event for the fight night, but not right now. Look, let's go back to the Islam situation. I think right now he is the pound for pound fighter. He's fighting the best.
I agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree with that.
I think a lot of why John is not at the pound for pound position is because He's been inactive, and the guys that he has fought haven't been anywhere near the level of which the guys that Islam is fighting.
That's right.
And I can't think of anyone that would try to argue that. It would just be stupid and foolish. And so, look, I'm not taking anything away from John Jones. People think I have this thing against him because of the AKA guys and all. No, I don't have anything against him at all. I mean, I actually just believe that John is probably the most talented person we've ever seen step a foot inside that cage. My only thing is that he decided to ruin it by throwing away his God-given talent, which he could have probably beat everyone with just that, and decided to either use PEDs or dick pills or whatever advances, he needed to use. Regardless of all that situation, I'm not even holding that against him when it comes to considering him possibly the greatest of all time. I put GSP there at the top over him. That's just my personal preference. Okay. And look, and they're interchangeable. If you decide, John, that you link that John Jones is that guy, I'm not going to break a sweat talking about it at all. I'm like, hey, good. I'm glad. That's the great thing about having these conversations with you, because you and I very rarely do agree. I just like to chirp at you too and stir the pot. But it's just fun because I want everyone to know that
it's rare. Hold on. It's rare that we disagree.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think we just try to make it out that we disagree more often than normal.
We try.
But I think that everybody, if somebody wants to choose John Jones, no problem with that. If someone wants to choose Anderson Silva, I've seen Anderson Silva talked about a lot in that GO conversation. I don't have him there. No. I would have either John Jones or I would have George St. Pierre. And George St. Pierre is my pick. And that's nothing against John. That's nothing against Anderson Silva. I just have with GSP at the top. And then I would probably even put like in the third position somewhere in there. I would put, BJ Penn. And everyone's going to tell me BJ Penn this, BJ Penn that. That dude fought every fucking weight class and never said no to a fight. And it didn't matter. He wanted to fight the best guys. You can't knock guys for that. We don't have that in this era. I think this era of what we have now in front of us is starting to slide more into a boxing era. They want to fight the guys. Look what's going on with Merab right now and Umar. He was doing everything he could to get out of that fight with Umar. Everything. He's not ready. He's just this big. It was a bunch of complaints. The fight was going to happen eventually, so you got to just get it out. I think that for his first title defense, he wanted somebody else, and I would understand. He wants to have the title.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, I don't blame him either. I'm not knocking him for that. I understand that mindset of like, hey man, my first fight's gonna be against this guy that really I haven't seen a lot of footage on. Not against top level guys, because top level guys don't want to fight him. That's what happened with Islam. That's what happened with Habib. There's this mystique about the Dagestani fighters that they just they can't find the answer to the riddle. They don't know how to solve these guys. And they're getting so much better faster than everybody else because there's nothing else out there that's distracting them. Their goal is to be the best and do it at a young age. I mean, how old is Umar right now? He's 29, I believe. Islam's what, 32, 33? 33. It's like he understands where he's at. I really believe after he beats Sarukian, this is where I think if he does beat Sarukian, he'll tie Kamaru Usman. After that, to tie Anderson, I don't know if this should be held against him. Do you think this should be held against him? What if he goes up in weight and fights the 170-pound champ if it's not Bilal?
So what if he does?
And then do you hold that against him?
What do you mean? Hold what? If he loses?
Yeah, I mean,
he loses. That's just the way it is. Your streak's gone. Okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't take away what he did as the lightweight champion. He's had a great run. You got to figure. All right, here, Josh, it's real simple. Name me the lightweight champion that held the belt for more than 3.
No, there never was one until right now.
There you go.
Yeah. No, that's when you told me you said that you think he's probably he could be the best, lightweight. I actually think he is.
Yeah.
And the only reason why I say that he would have a challenge, I think, against Habib. But the problem with Habib is that he's like Gale Sayers. He was only in the league, or he's only at the top because he retired early. Gale Sayers was somebody who only was a running back, I think, for 6 years in the league.
Yeah, just about.
Somewhere around there. One of the best running backs ever to do it, but only in 6 years. That's hard to say that you're the best running back. You only did it for 6 years, but man, he was talented. Same thing with Habib. We only saw him for a short period of time against the top level competition, but he was so dominant, dominant.
Yeah.
But I would put Islam right now as the best lightweight ever. And as much as I love BJ Penn, as much as I love Habib, I would put Islam as the best lightweight ever.
So here's my question for you then. If you were going to make a decision, BJ Penn, at the time that he beat Sean Shirk, beat Diego Sanchez, Kenny Florian, against Islam Makhachev now, who wins?
Oh, against Islam?
Yeah.
I love BJ. I love BJ Penn. But I would probably go Islam.
Yeah.
Now, but if I was to reverse the roles with Habib and BJ, I might go BJ. Just the styles were different. The double leg, single leg takedown. BJ at that time, his
Very difficult to
flexibility,
take
his
down.
dexterity, very difficult to take down. Think about the size too. When you get Habib down to 155, where BJ was at 155, there's a lot more threats there. The flexibility and the dexterity in the legs to lift his foot up over his head when he was standing, his balance, all of those things, his power in his hands. Habib had some power too. I felt it.
Yeah, but Habib was hittable.
Yeah, Habib was hittable. The other thing too is that BJ didn't load up. There wasn't a lot of load up. It was a lot of uppercut, left hook, right hands. When he was working with Perillo, man, his hands were tight. Yeah. His jiu-jitsu was on par. Habib
on par? How about on point?
Yeah, it was on point. On point. He
didn't have anything on par about his jiu-jitsu. It was fucking outstanding, world class.
Yeah, but as he got later in his career, the jiu-jitsu, he didn't keep up with the times.
Yeah.
But in that era of the Joe Daddy Stevensons, the Kenny Florians, the Sean Shirks, his jiu-jitsu was the best, man. Yeah. It was the best in MMA. His ground and pound was good. He was great, man, at that weight class. And then he was training with the Marinovich brothers, and his cardio and conditioning was next level. That was the best BJ Penn we had ever seen, ever. The Takanori Gomi one, I saw that when I was there live watching the beating he put on Takanori Gomi and Rumble on the Rock. That was, I think, the beginning of the best that we'd ever seen. But I look at Islam and I think to myself, Islam stylistically is not somebody who's going to shoot a double leg on you as much as he's just going to body lock you, foot sweep you. He's going to do all those things. Now, BJ's balance would have given him some problems in the foot sweeps and his flexibility. His ability to balance and stuff would have given him problems, but it would have been a good fight. Definitely would have been a good fight. I would lean towards Islam, but I would lean towards BJ against Habib. And I don't know why I brought that up, because maybe, I don't know, people may think I'm slapping Habib in the face for it, but it just styles make matchups, man.
Yeah. That's that is exactly what it is. It's just styles, one fight to the next. It can change your opinion, and that's okay. That's why I asked it.
He wasn't going to leg lace BJ Penn. I
don't know.
The flexibility of BJ, he always kept his knees up towards his elbows when you took him down, and he was able to work right to omoplata from that position. He never got taken down with his legs together. And when he did, as soon as he hit the ground, he'd go right to omoplata because his flexibility, he didn't have to use his hand. He could just put his foot to your ear without using his hand. Most people have to pull the foot to the ear. So if you get taken down, like all he's got to do is start pushing on the shoulders a little bit as he gets taken down, and then that foot would go right to the ear. And you're like, gosh, man, I was just on top. The leg lace is not there, and then it poses a problem there. I just look at him back then, right? And then that transition, when he started fighting guys, GSP and those guys all at a bigger weight class. I think that was, if he would have stayed at 155 and continued to be dominant, man, just the sky would have been the limit for him. I think he would have been the longest reigning champion forever. He would have been there forever. Frankie gave him some problems with the speed and all that, but I think also too, he didn't look at Frankie as a threat. Just the things, and a lot of things changed during that time. They got rid of the Marinovich brothers. They got rid of, they weren't doing all the same stuff, or they were trying to emulate it themselves without doing it. Yep. And not that they needed the Marinovich brothers to do it. It just was they were trying to get more control. They wanted to tell him that you don't need boxing, you don't need jiu-jitsu, you just need more of what we're doing, and we could help you on the mitts. And when coaches start doing that, you got to get away from them.
Yeah.
So, but where are you at on that? Where are you at on? Where do you put Islam as in terms of the lightweight, and where do you put Habib?
No, right now, especially if he gets the win against Sarukian, you got to say the greatest lightweight champion there's been in the UFC will have to be Islam Makhachev. There's just, how do you not say it when he's the only guy? When you take a look, I want to say Jens Pulver became the champion. Either it was 99 or 2. I want to say it was 2000. Became the first UFC lightweight champion in 2000. He held it for a couple. And, the question I put out to you is, I knew the answer. look at no one's held it longer than 3 times, 3 fights, and then it's gone. And to sit there and have the only guy who's done it, and then if all he's going to be doing is if he gets a win against Sarukian, he'll be just adding to that. It's saying a lot because it's been such a difficult division based upon the talent pool that's there, and this leads into all these different aspects. And it's the one thing that is different with both Khabib and with Islam is they don't do all of the things that other fighters have done. They don't get into some of the outside influences, and then they don't, when it comes to doing media and stuff, they kind of control, the UFC will ask them and they'll do stuff, but they don't do the same as what other guys will go off and do, because it's like, oh, that's gonna be fun. They don't care about the fun. They care about, ooh, I want to get back with my guys, and that's my group, that's who I stay with. So that's one of the reasons I think, Khabib left. He was undefeated. And it's one of the reasons why Islam now has the best record of any lightweight champion, is based upon he hasn't gotten caught up in that other bullshit that a lot of guys do. And he hasn't tailed off. Every day that you're not in the gym and your opponent he's getting better and you're getting worse. Well, Islam's in the gym. Yeah. And so that's why he's staying on top.
Yeah, I think that 33, 34, I don't imagine him fighting much longer. I'm going to be honest. You're going to lose him probably in the next 2 years. Okay. I don't think he'll fight into 36 years old. I figured
35 is what I thought.
I've had conversations with him several times about, I don't want to fight long. I don't want to fight, until I'm old. I want to retire. I want to, do the best I can while I'm still young. It's very smart. If you look at a lot of the guys that come out of that gym, they focus everything up until they're, 32, 33, 34 to try to be the best. And if you follow their regiment, man, it's a winning regiment.
It's not easy to follow.
It's not. It's not. But
I mean, I'm not saying it can't be done, but it's not easy. You have to be incredibly disciplined, and you have to have a certain mindset as far as values.
Let me ask you this. Do you think with this, I know this is a little bit off topic, but it's on topic, but do you think that this is the formula for everything? Because look, like I said, I just got back from my son's NDP tournament for lacrosse in California. I see in Texas that these kids are one sport athletes.
Yeah.
Like everyone on his team, they play like rec stuff during the off season, but they still play lacrosse. They do like one little rec, but like they don't care if they miss it, but it's something different. But they're all one sport athletes. They're literally like grinding away private lessons in lacrosse. There's this place down in Addison called Lacrosse Barn. Beautiful new setup there. Great place. Their kids are there. Like sometimes, if there's no school that day, they'll take their kids to school there, or they'll be there for an hour or two, just shooting balls, working with coaches. I mean, I feel like this is kind of the Dagestan way.
It is.
They pick their sport at a young age, sambo, wrestling, whatever it is, and look at these guys. This is another level. This is another. If you want to compete in MMA, they're setting the standard of this is what you've got to do from a young age, and not just a young age, but you just do focus on one thing. That's it.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Like it really comes to go to my age. In the 1980s, we played everything. If you were an athlete, you were playing football, you were playing basketball, you were swimming, if that's what it was, or you were playing track and field, and then you were playing baseball. You played all these different sports, but you can only be so good. I mean, there's always that one person, man, he's great at that sport, or he's great at another one, but you can only be so good when you're practicing part-time in every sport. And I think when it got into the 2000s, parents started going towards, oh, we need to, focus in on what, our child, likes or is going to be good at, because that's how they're going to get a scholarship and stuff. And we really started to see kids start to tail off. And, be honest, what did you play? 2 sports?
Yeah, I played everything I possibly could, whatever my dad could afford.
All right,
which wasn't much.
So you had soccer, you played, you wrestled.
Wrestle was the cheapest sport I could possibly do. Wrestling.
That's all you need. Pair of shoes and pair of shoes.
Duct tape the front if I got holes. That's how we rolled. So,
And so, but that's what I say. It systematically started to close off as people started to say, well, the way to get into a university, to get to college on a scholarship, is you got to dedicate towards that one. And then they started getting coaches, for their kids, and they would take them. That was all they did all year round, and that's what you have with, the Dagestani, people that are in MMA. It's their lifestyle. They start it young. They start with Sambo, which is very close to MMA. And then they just transition into MMA, and the people that they are around, that's what they do. And they hang together. They train together. They don't go off and say, you know what? You guys go run. No, you all go run. You all go bike. You all do something together, because hey, this our guy's fighting, and we're with them, and we're gonna go train. Whether you're on the the treadmill or you're on the bike, doesn't matter. You're doing something, and that just leads to that. Hey, you're always doing something to make yourself better.
Yeah, no, I tell the story. I've told it a couple times, I think, already on the show. But look, I was on my way down after one of our Bellator events, from Chicago, from my room after the show, dropping my bags off or dropping my stuff up in my room, coming down, walking out of the bar. That's
because I was sitting there.
Yeah, you were at the bar. So I go down to meet you, and I go down to meet others, and I draw, and I'm passing them in the elevator. I see them. We talk for a bit. We're standing in the hallway. And I'm like, hey, what are you guys doing? They're like, we're going to go up and work out. It's 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? I walked up. So I just walked up with them, even though I was already down the lobby. I walked back up with them to kind of hang out in the workout room with them and see what they're doing. Umar's riding a bike. Usman's riding a bike. And another one of the other guys is riding a bike with them. And then you've got Ali, who's their manager. And he's lifting with Abu Bakr and lifting with another guy that I didn't know who he was. Like, not everything is intense. I think that's the misconception, is that if you're going to train, you got to train hard. They train 3-4 times a day, but only like one of them is hard. The rest of them are all just, let's cruise. They're just riding the bike at a nice, easy pace, for an hour. It's getting their body prepared. And then they go and lift, nothing heavy. And they're taking way time in between reps and talking and chatting. But it's just, okay, your turn. Okay, I go. And then, Abu Bakr was talking to me for like 10 minutes, and all these like finally like, hey man, go so I can go again. So he lifts. It's like they're having fun. They're there for an hour, hour and a half, just goofing around in the gym, making the stuff that's supposed to be, that we have a perception of being difficult, making it fun. Just making it a casual day. Like, hey, I go to the gym, I lift, I walk out. It doesn't have to be intense. Don't put more pressure on yourself to make it everything like, oh, I've got to do it. I've got to do it to the hardest. I think that's a little bit of a problem with not just with most people when it comes to working out. It has to be intense, or it's not working. It doesn't need to be intense. Do the best you can, get in, get your 35, 45, an hour long workout in, and bounce out. Doesn't need to be intense. If you do it consistently on a daily basis, man, that's it. It doesn't even really need to be that structured. Yeah. Like, oh, I've got to lift arms today. I've got to do back today. Everyone
feels right.
Yeah, do what feels right. Like, what? Today I feel like doing full body. I'll do burpees and just push-ups and sit-ups. That's your whole workout. Do that for 45 minutes straight, and you'll get a workout in. So I think that the future is bright for the young team, the Nurmagomedov team and Team AKA. I think it's bright. They've got some young talent that's coming up that's going to be special. But I think right now the main focus can be obviously Islam and Umar keeping the title and winning his title. And we'll see what happens with the other Usman if he comes over from Bellator to UFC. But I was just actually watching the replay of the Usman Nurmagomedov against Shabli fight. And holy shit, those two guys are so talented and so fast. It's insane to see. It's insane. Both those guys, I think, would make a big splash. I'd like to see Shabli and Justin Gaethje, or Shabli. I don't want to say Dustin Poirier because I know they train together. But I'd like to see Shabli and Justin Gaethje, or Shabli and Max Holloway. Holy shit. That would be a
hell of a fight.
A hell of a fight. So those guys, I would like to see those kind of fights. All right, Dave, what else you got for us? Before we move on, though, guys, I want you guys to remember, join us over at OnlyFans, like right here. See, OnlyFans. I want to thank them for continuing to sponsor and work with us. We are the first podcast they have ever partnered with, and it is free to subscribe to us over there. We've got a little over, I think, 1,000 subscribers. I think 1,100 or 1,200, something like that. John and I do a live chat every month. We will try and let you know when the next one's going to be right before our live show, because we usually do the live chat right after, where you guys can jump on, talk with us, have conversation with us, and basically interact with us over there. We try to answer as many questions as we possibly can, just getting through them. Also, Bet US. This episode is brought to you by Bet US. We're going to talk about some odds when we get into the fight night. So don't forget, we'll talk to you probably about the main event and the co-main on the odds for that. And obviously, Drink Element with the link down below in our descriptions. Okay, they send you a bonus package with every purchase. Dave, what else you got for us, buddy?
Let's look at fight night this weekend.
All right. Well, it is back. Thank God. Actually, I needed the break, but I was like, I started jonesing for fights here, and it was just crazy. But the UFC is back with its first show coming up. We got Mackenzie Dern in a rematch with Amanda Ribas as the main event. That's actually an interesting fight because it was a good fight the first time. And it's interesting to see how people change, to see what they can do differently. We see if they figured out where their mistakes were and what they're going to do. Obviously, Amanda Ribas was the winner by a unanimous decision against Mackenzie Dern, and it was Mackenzie Dern's first MMA loss. So I'm sure she would like to get that back. How do you think it's going to go?
John, I think that Mackenzie Dern hasn't really evolved from when she started the sport. Her boxing's gotten a little bit better, but her head stays online. She keeps her chin up when she backs away. Nothing's really changed. Her grappling is probably, I wouldn't say gotten worse. What it is that she's not focused on the jiu-jitsu as much as she was when she was competing. And so it's taken a step back, but now she's still probably the best jiu-jitsu female they have in the organization.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, or you could say Yonderova.
Yeah, you could say that too. But I look at this fight and I think to myself, Amanda Ribas is slightly getting better every time she steps in the cage. She has her ups and downs though. She's a good fighter, but she comes aggressive. She comes hard. If she can back Mackenzie Dern up, I think you see the same result. I think what happened, John, is everyone was afraid to go to the ground with Mackenzie Dern, but they've also figured out she doesn't know how to shoot a double leg. She doesn't know how to wrestle. So if I can,
but be honest, is Amanda Ribas a wrestler?
No, she's not. But I think that she's got better takedown defense than Mackenzie Dern's takedowns.
The takedown offense.
Yeah.
It's one of those. I always think it's very difficult when you have two good fighters.
Yeah.
For the fighter who won the first time, if there's not a big difference in age and things like that, it's difficult for them to get that second win because first off, it's hard for them to get up for the fight. It's easy for the person who lost to get up for the fight, in my opinion, because they have something to fight for, to say, I need to get that one back. It's tough for the person that won in that, I already beat that person, and it's not like it's for the championship or something that, I can get excited about. Now I got to face them again. That always makes it a difficult one. I know that the odds for this is somewhere, I believe Mackenzie Dern is definitely the underdog at a plus 175.
55.
Well, Amanda
155.
Oh, then it's dropped because it was a lot of people are betting on Mackenzie Dern then because it was a plus 175. And so what do we have with Amanda is at minus 185 right now. So definitely, she's the favorite. I understand why, but I look at them. I think they're actually pretty even as far as the overall game. I think Amanda's throws a little bit better as far as the stand-up. I think their wrestling is basically the same, and I think on the ground, Ribas is good, but not as good as Dern. And so it's a toss-up fight, really, and that either one can win it. I just look at just off of the fact that it was her first loss. I'm going to go with Mackenzie Dern as the dog in this one.
Oh wow, really?
I'm
going to take Amanda Ribas at minus 185, but I think what I would do is I wouldn't put money on Amanda Ribas for that. What I would do though is I'd put the money on the minus 210 on the over at 4.5. I think this fight goes the distance. I think Amanda Ribas can be very cautious with her hands, but when she does let it go, she'll connect and keep Mackenzie Dern on her back foot. If this fight does end early, it will be because Mackenzie Dern got the submission. It will not go because Mackenzie Dern got knocked out. Or
no, she's tough.
She's tough. She's got a granite chin. Not only that, but she's a dog, man. She will fight to the bitter end. No one can say she's not a fighter.
No,
She's a
God,
fighter.
man.
She's a
Are you
scrapper.
kidding? Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I look at Amanda Hebus not also too not wanting to land the third and fourth shot, because if she overcommits to something, she doesn't want to get taken down.
Yeah.
So I think if I would take the minus 210 on the over at 4.5 if I was to bet, because I think this fight will go to the distance, and I think that Hebus will probably win. Even if it does go to the ground, there's no guarantee that Mackenzie Dern's going to submit her, but she will be able to maybe control the round. You know, I think a lot of people, if they start to fight Mackenzie Dern, they're working a lot of their defensive stuff, defensive takedown defense, and their defensive back takes, all those things, working on it, defending the neck, all those type of things that she'll be working on. So I think that it's not a gimme now. If you go to the ground with Mackenzie Dern, and how long can you keep her on the feet to tire her out? Because the jiu-jitsu starts to fade away as the cardio starts to go away, or as the fight gets into the deeper rounds, because you're sweaty, you're slippery, you're exhausted. They can't squeeze as hard. They can't push as hard and trying to get the triangles. Legs are more fatigued and trying to finish, all these types of things.
Yep.
So there's a lot of reasons why as the fight goes on, it'll be hard to get that submission.
Yeah. I agree. It's one of those fights that I honestly believe either of the fighters can win. It's just that I look at it always tough when it's not a championship fight and it's a rematch.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, when you had, your whole thing with Gil. First fight you had with him was a championship fight. It's easy for you to get up. You were going to try to take his title. Second fight, same guy, but it's a championship fight. I got to defend my title. Third fight, championship fight. It's easy to get up for. It's tough when you are the person that won the fight and it's just another fight.
Yeah, I think the Gil situation was just because we just knew each other so well, so it was caution to the win. I think in this fight, I think you'll see Hebus get off a little bit more, but I think Mackenzie also understands what Hebus is good at, so she's got to go back and in her mind and go back and look at her more recent fights. I also think to herself, how has she changed since I fought her last?
That's it. It's true. Because you got to figure, Hebus is coming off the loss against Rose Namajunas, so she is wanting to get back in the win column. So that's a good part for her. But all right, yeah,
good though. Hebus has been looking good, whereas I think Mackenzie Dern, she's been looking good, but not at the level that we thought we'd see the progression in.
Yeah,
I thought we'd see more progression. I mean, her stand-up's gotten better, but the chin's got to stay down, and the wrestling has not gotten better at all, John.
No, it is not. So I'm the first one to agree with you. Her wrestling just is not. I would have her in a wrestling room, just nonstop. But
yeah. Hey guys, you know what we're gonna do is we're gonna pick apart a couple of these fights here, and John, go ahead and pick a couple there, or pick one that you like, and then I'll pick one that I like.
All right, I like the Chris Curtis versus Roman Kopylov. I think that's actually
took my fight. I don't understand why this is not the co-main event.
Either do I. As soon as you said it, I said I know he's gonna take the freaking. Yeah. This is my fight too, and I look at it. Curtis is he's getting towards up in the latter part of his career. Kopylov is pretty young. That's a scary part for me when I look at it. I love Chris Curtis. I think the action man is fun to watch. He comes to fight. He's always trying to, put, big shots on his opponent, knock him out. I think he's going to have a very tough time with Roman Kopylov. And it's just Kopylov's stand-up is very good. Curtis really doesn't look for the takedowns very often, which is the way that you see a lot of people beat Kopylov. And I'm just not too sure that this is, we go by matchup wise, the length, all of it goes to Kopylov.
I would agree with you. But I also felt the same way when he fought Brendan Allen. I also felt the same way when he fought other guys. And I'm thinking to myself, Chris Curtis is more of a boxing centric guy. Kopylov's got all the tools. He's kind of wild a little bit too. But Chris, if he lays his hands on you, you could be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, but Anthony Hernandez is the last guy to beat Kopylov. And why? Because he took him to the ground. And it's like Anthony Hernandez has that ability. He's a dog. He can take a lot of punishment. Chris can take a lot of punishment, but he's not going to be taking him to the ground. And he's going to.
Chris can wrestle though.
He doesn't though. He can and will are two different things, because he just is. I want to knock you out, and I understand it's been a winning style for him, and keep going with it. Just against a guy who is faster. And I do think Kopylov is faster, a little bit more technically sharp as far as he throws straighter shots. and he's just longer, it's going to be a difficult fight.
It is going to be a difficult fight, but I think it's going to be a fun fight. Chris Curtis is going to take some kicks.
I agree.
He's going to try to land on the counter. And I think that's going to be a great fight, man. And I think Kopolov's going to be a little wild, going to become aggressive. We're going to see what happens.
Yeah.
John, I'm a big fan of Ponzinibbio, and I like Soriano as well. Both those guys, I think, are going to be fun. So Soriano versus, how do you say his name? Medic?
Yeah. Uros Medic.
That's going to be a really
good fight.
That's going to be a really good fight.
It is. Medic is a damn good fighter, and now that's in the 170-pound division where Soriano was always 185, did his first fight at 170 and looked great in doing it, got a big win. And so, and dude, if there's one thing, I just know the guy's got unbelievable power in his hands.
Yeah. That's going to be a good fight. Ponzinibbio versus Carlson Harris, who's the co-main event. We're going to go ahead and talk about the odds on this. What do you got for us there, Dave, on the odds?
Odds on this one.
Minus 105 for Carlson Harris, and Ponzinibbio is a minus 125. The over is 2.5 at minus 105, and the under at 2.5 is minus 125.
Yeah, but how does Ponzinibbio get his wins?
Decisions. Or knockouts. Yep.
Okay. And in the last fight, Harris lost to who? Chaos Williams.
Right? By knockout.
By knockout.
Yeah.
And so, you look and you go, look, I understand why, people look at him. He's a good fighter, but he's fighting a guy in Ponzinibbio who he could knock out, but he could get knocked out by him too.
Mm-hmm.
So I look at it and say, you know what? I would take the wily veteran in Ponzinibbio, a guy with a lot more experience right now. And especially coming off the loss, Harris is still going to have that a little bit in the back of his mind.
Yeah, nobody wants to lose to an older fighter in Ponzinibbio, but man, the guy can sling it.
Yeah, he can.
He's tough as nails. Hey, Dave, that episode right there, that little portion of this show is brought to you by BetUS. Go to YouTube 150. YouTube 150. Use our promo code there. YouTube 150. They'll give you 150% bonus on your first deposit and 125% bonus on your next two. John, Dave, let's go ahead and hit a couple of these super chats real quick.
Yep. All right, first one here. I got to scroll way up for it. There's been a lot of conversation back and forth. All right, Stephen, Josh the Pork Thompson, boys, Pantoja sitting at number 9 pound for pound, should be higher than Bilal, Merab, and DDP. Look at his wins in top 10, ?
Higher than Bilal, higher than who? DDP?
Merab as well.
Okay, he should be higher than Merab. I look at Pantoja, he should be higher than Merab. The only reason why I think he's not higher than Merab is because the 135-pound division is the toughest division right now in the sport. So there's a little bit of an argument there. In terms of DDP, it's going to be hard only because he beat Izzy. It's just too, like, he beat Strickland, he beat Izzy, he's beat guys that are at the top there. It's hard for me to say yes. Look, let's just, I guess, to me, it's because of the 125-pound division not being a stacked division. There's not a bunch of Demetrius Johnson in there that he's got to get past. Don't get me wrong. The level of competition in 125 has definitely risen since DJ was there.
Yeah.
But people are going to look back, I think, probably and go, hey, he beat Urseg. And nothing against Urseg. Guy can fight. Okay. But it's not champion.
Just because he don't look like a fighter doesn't mean that he isn't one.
Yeah, but people are always going to look back and go, man, like, why was he thrown into that fight too soon?
Okay.
Other fight, like who would he fight? He fought Royval, correct?
Oh, yeah.
For the title, though? Did they
Yeah.
fight? Yeah, they just fought, right? 2 fights ago. Yeah. So Royval, and then they're talking about him fighting a Royval again.
Well, see, that's the real problem is exactly what you're saying. Could Brandon Royval get another shot? Sure.
Yeah.
But he's fought him. Brandon Moreno, he's fought him how many times?
Yeah.
And so you've got this whole thing, and those are the two guys sitting at the very top. And you look and you go, well, if those are the two guys sitting at the top, and he's already fought him multiple times, and he beat him. Well, what the hell? That makes it tough to put him in that pound for pound and put him way up somewhere in the top of that. Because just looking at his division itself, look, I love Tim Elliott. Okay, I think Tim Elliott is one of the toughest sons of bitches going, and he was fun to watch. but he's still sitting at number 10 in the 125s. Okay. You look and you go, Charles Johnson is at 12. Okay. You got guys like, Tyra, who just lost. We just saw him in the gym. He's at number 5. Kai Kara France is at number 4. You just don't have those names of guys that you go, okay, from 1 to 10, man, it's a fucking just a goddamn killer's row. It's just not there in the 125s where you can look at the 135s and go, okay, I've got like Sean O'Malley, I've got Umar Nurmagomedov, I got Jan, I got Corey Sandhagen. I mean, you just got this. It goes all the way down. Number 8 is Song Yadong. Number 9 is Rob Font. I mean, killer's row.
Yeah, I would agree with you. 100%. I mean, look at you've got Henry Cejudo is number 7, 2-time, 2-division champion and Olympic gold medalist.
Now,
right?
I would love to see if Henry could make the weight. I would love to see Henry go back to 125.
He's just older, John.
I know, and I don't blame him. He can't make the weight. Okay, it's tough.
Yeah, I also don't want to see a repeat of the TJ Dillashaw. Suck yourself down and then your chin
diet it. Yeah,
and just he never not the same anymore.
I agree.
But I would agree with you. Yeah, but you also got guys that are kind of Brandon Royval is fantastic. Brandon Moreno, fantastic. Amir Albazi, fantastic. Kai Kara France, little one-dimensional, but still really good. Tetsuro Taira, Manel Cape. Manel's jumped up 3 spots. There's an argument to be had there that I'm tired of seeing him fight Pantoja fight the same guys, Royval and Moreno, and and so forth. Let me see Manel Cape, who's come in. He's been looking good. Who's out there. His last fight was very entertaining.
Yep.
Should have possibly done a little bit more, I think, to probably get it done. But I think he looked fantastic. He looked fast. He looked like he was in control the whole time. So there's fights to be had there. I think Manel K is probably the next one that has an argument to go ahead and jump the other 1, 2, 3, 4 fighters to get up there. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. But do I think he deserves Pantoja deserves to be ranked higher? I would say just Merab mainly only would be the only one, only because he's just now the champion, whereas Pantoja's defended it multiple times. I mean, that says something. Look, winning the title is one thing, defending it is another thing. The mindset changes automatically. It just changes. And so I can't tell you that Merab hasn't defended it yet. So I would have went with Pantoja being ranked higher than Merab, but that's probably it. I would leave DDP there, and I would leave Bilal there. Anything else? What else you got for me?
Yep. In the granite 617, been saying John Jones easy for 7 years. JJ haters. I don't know who it was directed at, if it was you guys, but it sounds like it's from the earlier conversation.
Yeah, I don't understand what you're talking about. Who was that? Who said that?
The In the Granite guy.
Oh, In the Granite. Come on, buddy. I was just giving you love for being a member, brother. Don't take shots at me. Do I think John Jones is the GOAT? Like I said, it's interchangeable for you guys. It could be one or the other. So don't throw salt my way. Don't throw it.
You ain't throwing it my way because I've been saying that he's the best.
Yeah, look, like I said, you're
mind,
interchangeable. So. It can be whoever. If I look at it as being GSP, you can be John Jones.
See, but it's hard. Like, this is what it comes down to, Josh, and you've got to be honest about it. You can sit there and say whatever you want. I can show you fights where GSP tapped out due to a freaking armbar with 1 second left. I can show you a fight where GSP got just obliterated by a guy in Matt Serra, that tough fighter. I take nothing away from Matt Serra, but not anybody that anyone's ever going to consider one of the best of all time. Okay. He won the title there. He did a phenomenal job. I want to take nothing away from him, but Matt Serra is not going to be the guy that people put into one of the best fighters of all time. Fucking stud dude, great, funny guy. He's had some great things happen to him outside of the cage where he's done crazy things. But those 2 losses, you can't say that about John Jones. And I understand the whole thing that everyone wants to say. Here's the difference of what they're looking at. They look at GSP, and I do the same thing. GSP is just an absolute great person inside the cage. He competes well. Great person outside of the cage. He does all kinds of things. He shows them, how to work out. He's good with other people. He does all kinds of stuff. John's got that personality that he doesn't give a fuck what you think about him. He's done some things outside of the cage a lot of people don't like, okay? But it's not about what they've done or who they are outside. It's only about what they've done inside that cage as far as who's the greatest. And that's why there's no way that I can say that GSP beats John Jones at it.
I mean, I don't know.
I know.
Look, I've heard recently some medias, let them remain nameless. You guys can look it up. But some media have been talking about how, I don't know if it's because now he's at the end of his career. We hear this a lot. Is that fighter, and even with professional sports, baseball, football, whatever it is, that the fighter or the player is not as good as the current players, right? Like everyone's saying LeBron's better than Jordan. People were saying that John Jones fought guys when they were older, the Shoguns, the Machitas, the guys that were kind of on their way out.
But that's bullshit.
Okay.
Well, no, let's be honest. You said I've heard that. Okay.
I'm just glad I'm not the only one that heard it.
The person that said it is a guy that shouldn't talk about anybody.
Who was it that said it?
Dylan Dennis.
Oh,
okay.
I don't think he was the guy I was talking about.
No, he was the one that came out and said John Jones never fought anybody except old guys. He handpicked his fights.
John, I want to know, how do you know Dylan Dennis said that?
Jesus, because I saw it and I went, "You got to be shitting
him on
me."
Twitter, don't you?
Dude, I do not.
You do. I'm gonna fucking look it up. You do follow him.
Yeah, that's a lie.
John
I do not. I want you to look it up because I do not.
Do you follow Dave? Do us a favor. Look at I maybe on accident.
No
McCarthy hit.
I would tell you at one time I did because he was a Bellator fighter, but I got rid of that. Goodbye.
Oh, geez.
I'm gonna find out right now.
You go ahead.
This is great.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But seriously, okay. Let's take a look at John. When he won the championship, he was 23 years of age. Obviously, he was going to be older than the champion, who was Shogun Rua, but Shogun was not an old fighter at that time, was he?
Oh, I mean, he was got to be pushing 36.
No. No, he was pushing 30. Okay, because he started his career, he was super young.
Wow.
Okay, and so when he fought Alexander Gustafsson was young. Okay.
Yeah, Gus was a stud.
You got to sit there and look and say, you can only fight people when they are, in that position, to get a shot at you or something like that, or you're in a position to get a shot at them. He fought everybody that you could fight. He didn't duck anybody. There was nothing that he was doing. Oh, I'm avoiding him. A lot of people right now are saying, oh, he's trying to avoid Aspinall. Like I said, bullshit. He's not afraid of Aspinall. He's just trying to get paid. Good for him. And that number?
Yeah.
Ooh,
30
baby.
million?
Yeah.
And that leads me to the next question. Does he get it?
Yes, he does.
Do you think he really gets 30 million, or do you think they're going to settle on like 18 to 20?
25.
Yeah, I don't think he gets 30.
25.
Yeah, I would lean more towards the 18 to 20 range.
I think 25. I really do.
Good for him.
Absolutely. Here's the thing. When you have somebody that is the CEO of the company, who is now a director of Meta, sitting on the board of directors of Meta. No, and he wants to see the fight. And if he can make money still doing that fight, he'll do it. And that's what I love.
Yeah, when the boss wants to see something.
Boom. There you go.
Okay, it's the
and he does.
Do you think it ends up being the highest pay-per-view?
I think it'll definitely be John Jones's highest pay-per-view. And I think it
won't be.
It's not going to be. I don't think it'll just based upon the way pay-per-view is now. I don't think it beats Conor and Khabib, but it'll be a damn good one. It'll be somewhere in the 1.6.
Do you? Oh, you think one? You think so?
I think so.
Do you think
it'll break 2?
It breaks $1 million?
Yeah, it'll break $1 million. Absolutely, it'll break $1.5 million.
Do they do it in the UK or do they do it here in the States?
I don't know. I look at it and if they do it in the UK, that's going to be a little bit of a problem.
Really?
Well, either you're going to have the fighters fight very late, so you can have.
Man, fuck these fighters. You get paid $30 million. Shut up. I'm just kidding.
I mean, you can have it where the fighters fight really late or the pay-per-view's on earlier. I would rather see just put the pay-per-view on earlier. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to watch it. I don't care if it's on Saturday at fucking 3:00 in the afternoon. I'm watching it.
Yeah, I think it depends on when they do it. It sounds like they're pushing for July. If they're doing July, it's gonna be a Vegas International Fight Week. Yeah. So it'll probably be the T-Mobile. What other arenas bigger than the T-Mobile? Do they have one that's bigger than T-Mobile?
Not in Vegas. Reliant. Oh no, they would.
15, 13.
Yeah, they'll definitely not go to the Thomas.
They won't go there. Okay.
No, but they could go. The only thing they could do is go to Raider Stadium, which is the Reliant.
Yeah,
dude. If you could sell that out,
Allegiant.
If you could, if you could just put fucking 50 some thousand in it. Hello.
Yeah. I think they would just go T-Mobile and just jack the prices up.
Probably.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Shogun right now is 43, John.
Yeah.
So he
go back.
I'm going back. Give me a second.
John, how old is John now?
38.
And he was 23 when he fought him. Figure it out, dude.
I'm going, man. I'm looking.
Let's go, math.
I'm scrolling. Don't give me this math shit. Let me see. I'm looking for where he fought.
Go ahead.
John Jones.
Who fought John Jones?
Shogun.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, he fought John Jones in 2011.
2011. And then what is he right now?
He's 43.
43 right now, and it's 2025.
Yeah.
Okay, figure that out.
Go ahead, John.
Go back 10. What did he say? 45 he is?
43.
43.
And he fought him in 2011. So 15.
43.
2015 is 10 years. That makes him 33.
Mm-hmm. And then 29.
29 years of age. Thank you very much. Prime of his fucking career. He was.
Oof.
See? You were thinking he was 36.
Man, I thought he was older. I mean, it like a lot of it too is I think because we've seen him fight in Pride so young.
Yeah, I said he started young. He was fighting real young.
I think he's got the Jose Aldo effect, right?
He might.
Like you're like, holy shit, this guy should be 48 years old. No, he's only 36.
Yeah.
Like you look at Jose Aldo, what is he, 36, 37, somewhere around there? You're like, man.
Mm-hmm.
What else? There's another super chat you got for us there, Dave.
Yep. Shiz Akhmedov says, Happy New Year. Amazed could be something. DDP's cardio against Sean in the first fight. AMAZEDCBY. I don't know what that word is, but it says something DDP's cardio against Sean in the first fight. DDP gave 2 rounds to Sean, and afterwards, especially in round 4 and 5, DDP showed relentless cardio with strikes and pulled off a split decision. Who you
trying
got?
to say amazing cardio, amazing DDP cardio.
Oh,
is what he's trying to say.
Amazed by. Okay.
Amazed by. Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah. He thought it was some Russian name.
I know. I'm like, he's writing Russian words in here. I don't do that.
John, who do you got on that fight? On the rematch?
It all depends on how Sean Strickland fights it. I really look at it as that, DDP brings a pressure as far as both stand up. He brings pressure, but he brings it with his grappling and trying to take you to the ground and, put you into the cage, just, dirty box. You do all those things that all add up to wearing you down. You take a look at what Sean's good at. Sean is good at getting up off of the ground. He's hard to hold down. So where I thought Sean made the mistake in his first fight is Sean Strickland is a forward moving fighter. He does not fight well going backwards. He fights well going forward. Off of his back foot, he doesn't have the same timing. He doesn't have the same reach. When he's stepping forward and you see him slip and move and do this little Philly shell, he's very effective and he controls the pace of the fight. Yeah. When he's going backwards, he's not controlling the pace of the fight. So the big difference that he needs to do in this one is obviously stop, the takedowns, but he's got to be doing it, pushing that forward. And that normally makes it to where it's harder for the person to take you down anyways. If you're moving forward and they're moving back, it's not an easy thing to set up a takedown as you're moving backwards.
Yeah, you just can't overcommit on things, but Sean doesn't. That's the thing. Sean's not an overcommit person when it comes to his striking. His boxing is very tight. He doesn't leave himself really out of position. The one thing that will make it easier for him to get taken down is he does stand straight upright.
Yes.
And lifting that little leg, how he likes to lift, and do the push kick. Yeah, and the push kick's annoying. I've dealt with guys that are like that. Look, Jake Shields had like one of those little annoying like body kicks. And I was like, man, this thing it's not hard, but it's annoying. But then it kind of like lands enough to where it knocks you off balance. And if you go back and you watch his GSP fight, it was like GSP saw it coming multiple times and just like still just took it. It's like, oh, it's not bothering me. It's not bothering me. But it knocks you off balance where it throws your striking off. I think that's what he's had a lot of success with, is that little push kick / like, inside kick, whatever it is. He doesn't leave anything, like I say, he doesn't leave himself open. He's a very talented fighter. I think he got in his own head. DDP got into his head, I think, also too, with the talk about all the other stuff, personal stuff. Yeah. Yep. And I think it really kind of altered the way that he fought. Sean dishes a lot.
Sure he does.
And I think in that fight, it showed that he was struggling to hold on to to taking it. That's, if you're going to dish, man, you got to be prepared for when people dish it back in all different types of ways. Now, I disagree with the way that it was brought up. I disagree with talking about things outside of fighting, when it comes to the fight promotion.
You don't bring in family.
Yeah. I don't think you bring up personal stuff. I talk to you about you as a person. Like, I think you're a piece of shit, or I think about your,
all day long.
Your ass. I'm gonna do this. Go ahead, do whatever. Talk about that. Talk about your weaknesses. I'm gonna just exploit all these things. Talk about those things. But leave the family, leave the kids, leave the personal stuff out of it all. But look, I think it's gonna make for an interesting fight, only based on the fact that I think Sean has all the talent to beat him. I just think DDP right now on a mindset that he can't be beat.
Yeah.
So I think DDP is going to look to emulate or try to repeat what he did. I think he's going to try and push Sean working backwards. If I know that Sean does not fight well going backwards, I'm going to make you go backwards. That's all I'm going to do.
Well, you're going to try. And if Sean is smart, he doesn't go backwards. The only thing he does is laterally he'll move, reset, and then continue to hold ground and laterally move, reset.
Something about DDP, though, keeps people from fighting their game.
Yeah, he's awkward.
Yeah. A little bit of that Jardine.
Yep.
Yeah, Keith Jardine style of fight.
The Dean Amin, man.
Yeah.
He was tough.
Very, very difficult. All right, what else you got for us, Dave?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Dana White joins Meta. What's your thoughts here?
I think it's fucking awesome.
Board of directors. There was additional comments made that they're changing their what do you call it? Their community notes today they're changing their community notes from fact checkers to community notes. Interesting stuff all around. Anyway, more so on the side of UFC, John, you've been calling us for a few weeks now, saying Dana's going to step away. Don't know if you had any like insight as far as this stuff goes, but what does this mean for the UFC? What do you guys predict 2025 UFC with less Dana, as John you've been saying?
It doesn't matter what I say about Dana. The media will put out that I said something mean about him. When I said Dana was going to step away, I didn't say he was leaving for good.
Yeah,
he's stepping away to put his attention and emphasis into something else, and doesn't mean he won't be around the UFC, but he's not going to be in the same capacity that he was. That's my prediction, and it's because of things like this. Like, people have figured out, and this is just an absolute compliment to Dana is not a college educated person, okay? And society has put this whole fucking thing on college educations. If you're not college educated, you're not smart. Dana has proved he's pretty goddamn smart. He's pretty street savvy. He's pretty savvy as far as getting people to come to terms with the things that he wants them to do and stuff like that. He has proved that being a guy that has been successful in what he's done and continuing to move it forward and keeping people employed during bad times like the COVID thing and stuff like that. He is a good boss who takes care of his people, and they want him around. That's why you see Mark Zuckerberg going, "Hey, I want you sitting on my board of directors." I don't blame Zuckerberg, because he comes from a rational stance. He doesn't sit there and go with all the fucking gobbledygook bullshit. He goes with, what do we need to do to be better? And let's go in that direction. So that's why I think, Dana is going to be a little bit less involved in the UFC, a little bit more involved in other things, but I think it's a great thing. Congratulations to him. And I give Mark Zuckerberg credit. I think it's a very smart idea.
You said Dana wasn't a college educated person. I think he went to college with the Fertitta brothers, correct?
No, he did not. He went to high school.
I went to high school with them.
Yeah.
I thought he graduated from UMass or like Boston.
No.
I thought so. Oh, okay. Anyway, maybe I'm wrong. Okay.
Nope.
Right here.
In fact, what's that?
Right here. His family relocated to Las Vegas, Nevada when White was in 5th grade, according to the Boston Globe. He graduated from high school in Maine before moving to South Boston, where he had short stints at both Quincy College and the University of Massachusetts.
Yeah. It's one of the things that Lorenzo Fertitta put out was, hey, look, I looked at all these guys with Harvard MBAs and all these different things, and then it's like they weren't what I needed. I needed someone that he didn't have a college education, but he was street smart and he knew the direction that we needed to go. And so again, it's one of those. We put too much emphasis into a piece of paper. What that piece of paper will tell me is I have someone who has shown enough dedication to getting that degree. That says something. It does say something, but it doesn't tell me that you have intelligence. What Dana has done over time with building of a company, the way he has in some of the, directions that he's gone, shows intelligence.
Yeah, what it is I think it's the access to having knowledgeable people around you at all times.
Having people that are smart around you, that's intelligent.
Having Lorenzo Fertitta, Frank Fertitta, having their lawyers on hand to be able to ask questions and get knowledge directly from them related to how you can make the business go without getting the business in trouble. That's the other thing. What can I legally say without putting us in jeopardy of being sued? And Dana's walked the line.
Oh, he's walked.
But it's
definitely walked the line.
But it's also got them where they are doing the things that they've done, like especially over COVID, having events live, in-house or live during COVID was huge.
Yeah.
And that I think is really what catapulted this company in that next hemisphere. Like they were a huge company to begin with. Then the COVID situation happened. They said, no, we're still going to do events. We're just going to work around and create some loopholes for us to get in through so we can do these events.
Yeah. Look, I'll go back in time. This is where, they put it out like I said that I thought it was wrong that they were going to do fights during COVID. That is not what I said at all. At the time that, when the whole COVID thing happened, before they went to Jacksonville, Dana wanted that damn Khabib versus Tony fight. And he was going to do anything he could to get it. And COVID hit, and so it was putting a kibosh because no one was doing fights, and he found, Tachi Palace, which well, I know well. They, an Indian reservation, and they said, hey, yeah, you can do it here, but the Tachi Palace doesn't have a tribal commission. And the California State Athletic Commission has always done the fights out of Tachi Palace, and the California State Athletic Commission said, we're not doing fights. And so for him to go and do the fights, my whole thing was you're making a big mistake in that you were the ones talking about we ran to regulation, and this is going to be your first time running from it, and it's going to bite you in the butt. Don't do it. And that's what I was talking about. And then they turned it into I was saying, oh, they didn't want him to fight during COVID. It was like, whatever.
No, my take on it was, remember they were jumping through every loophole to try to get that fight to happen.
Yeah.
And it was all within like a 2-week period or a week period. Like,
no, exactly was.
Yeah. No, we're not canceling.
That's right.
Let's not forget they still had the fight that next day in Brazil, correct? In Brasilia?
No. That was when it hit, but that one was the last one they did, and then they tried to do the Tony versus Khabib because what they did with the one in Brasilia is they cleared out the arena and held the fights in Brazil with no crowd.
Yeah, because that was actually on March 14th, I think, in Brazil, I believe. Yeah, something like that.
And then they were going to do the one, I want to say it was in April, was what it was supposed to be for the Khabib versus Tony fight. And Just wasn't going to happen.
Yeah,
that fight was destined for failure,
Yeah.
no matter what.
But let's get back on topic here with the meta situation. Having Dana on the board, understanding what they are trying to do. I looked at some of the stuff that Mark Zuckerberg had talked about today, basically trying to run more towards freedom of speech, getting rid of their fact checkers because they found out that their fact checkers are mainly from California, being a California-based company, and that a lot of bias was being run through California. And so their bias was showing up on their fact checking, and then that turned into problems and also being influenced by the administration, the president's administration. So they have decided, it sounded like also too, they'll be moving their community notes and all those people that work for the community notes, making that change from fact checking to community notes. It looks like they'll be moving their fact checkers / community notes people into Texas.
Yeah, they said that.
Yep. So there's a lot of things that will be changing in the direction for more freedoms of speech for these media companies, and Dana will be part of it. I think this is
okay. Let me ask you this: what's the one thing that Dana has always said about his fighters? We don't control what the fighters say, and he doesn't. Does he?
No,
he doesn't.
He'll give you advice. He'll give you advice not to say shit because I said.
Oh yeah.
Shit.
Oh no, he'll say, "Hey, you shouldn't do that."
Yeah,
but he won't tell you, "Hey, I'm telling you, don't do that."
Mm-hmm.
You know, he lets you say what you want to say. It. Go ahead and say it. I'm not gonna tell you I think it's smart, but you want to say it. I'm not gonna stop you. But he's had that forever with the fighters.
Yeah, it's just gotten so. I don't know. There's so much I want to say. I just don't want to we don't know what direction this thing is going to go in. And so good for him on being on the board. Let's see if he has any influence there on what they're going to be doing. I do like the direction. It's funny because they went away from fact checkers and they're doing what X is doing, which people just can build into the community notes.
Community notes.
It's without really taking a jab at him. A lot of what Mark Zuckerberg has done has always been what other companies have done. I mean, he basically founded Facebook by taking somebody else's idea and making it his own and just doing it better. And so, and then now he's, and then he did the same thing too with Instagram. Instagram really was a makeup of Snapchat. He tried to buy Snapchat. They didn't want to sell it. So he turned around and made his own. Good for him. He does it better.
Did it better.
Now he's doing this too with the community notes. He started doing the paid stuff where you influencers get paid for subscribers and stuff on Instagram. He started doing that, and took that idea from OnlyFans. It's like he's finding ways to make sure that people get paid, and he's not creating any new ideas. He's just taking other people's ideas and making them better because he has the funds and means to do it.
Capitalism.
Is what?
That's capitalism. That's right.
Yeah, that's the way it goes, right? But this is one of those situations where I think he knows the market that Dana brings in. You have the president walking in, you have Elon Musk walking in, you've got Mark Zuckerberg now at your events. I mean, he's sitting around a table with the most powerful people in the world. With the Middle East, I really can't tell you if there's a more influential person right now in the world. I mean, there's guys that control the media, but then he's got his hands in every little pot in some way or another. It's funny because you have Lorenzo, right? And you have Frank and Frank Fertitta, they're off into the sides.
But that's all they want to be. They don't want you to see.
They don't want to be in. This is different.
Dana likes the limelight.
It's very rare you find somebody who enjoys the limelight. He reminds me honestly of a young Donald Trump. Donald Trump, that's what made him so popular. He was a realtor or / developer in New York who loved the limelight, who was charismatic, who was on Oprah, who was on all these other talk shows and just talked about, things that he would do in the future or things that he would do if he was president, I see it. I see you see this and you're thinking,
holy shit, are you giving your 2026 prognostications that Dana White's going to run for president?
I would not be surprised in say 10 years, 15 years. I would not be surprised.
It ain't happening.
You don't think so? Ever?
No. That's just not who Dana is. I just don't see it.
John, I would have never thought. I would have never thought too, because the way he is without freedom of speech, I never would have thought he'd be joining the metaverses. You know what I mean? Like these are things that are popping up that are just okay. Look, a lot of things happen over time, and he's not the same person he was, in 2001, 2002.
No,
things are a lot different.
Oh, yeah.
And I think in another 10 years, I think things will be a lot different from then on too. So
could be.
His focus may be different. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see what happens. But I think this is fun. This is good. This is like I said, he's surrounding himself with all the right influential people that can help make the brand bigger and better. That's really what it comes down to. Like, you think about this. Can you imagine Dave, can you look this up? How many people have Netflix in comparison to Facebook? Oof. My point is that is there somewhere in there I think more people have Facebook worldwide than they do Netflix.
Netflix has 282 million subscribers worldwide, and Facebook has 3.06 billion active users.
And eventually you'll see UFC on Facebook.
Maybe.
And I'm looking, hey, why? My reach is so much more. And it's you can watch it on Instagram, you can watch it on Facebook. And the reach that he has, that would be insane. I'm just saying, like, why? Look, Netflix is that next step for worldwide TV, but then beyond that is what? Facebook. It just has me thinking, because look, he's trying to make sure that everybody knows his fighters.
Well, you know where Power Slap's going after the Rumble deal's done, don't you?
The what?
Yeah, I said, you know where Power Slap's going to go after the Rumble deal's done?
When the Rumble deal's done?
When the Rumble deal's done, that's going straight to Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, because right now when you look at the platforms, right, you have Instagram probably at the top and Twitter. Those two right now are the top. Facebook is falling down. It's pretty much like into that Rumble atmosphere of like no one really. I don't think I've been on my Facebook in fucking 3 or 4 years, John.
Yeah.
I just attached my Facebook to my Instagram, and everything I post on Instagram goes to my Facebook. I don't even look at Facebook. So I think that they're going to have to do something to resurge it. And if you can actually go on there and watch TV, if it can become a YouTube type TV, like how YouTube is, I mean, and get paid for it and work a deal with them, like what would you do to have all of our boxing, and our MMA content on here? I think it'd be huge. Your reach would be a lot further than all the other platforms. It's a step in the right direction. Surrounding yourself with the right people. Conversations come up over coffee sometimes, and like, hey, you know what? This sounds like a good idea. Let's see what we can do. And you never know. You never know. All right, go ahead. What else we got?
We got fight announcement for February. Henry Cejudo and Song Yadong.
Go ahead.
I'm going to be honest. This is a very tough fight for Henry Cejudo at the age that Henry Cejudo is. He's got good takedown defense. Song Yadong does. He's got fast hands, and the boy can swat, as John would say. He can crack, man. He's got power in his hands. This is a tough fight for Henry Cejudo. I'm actually surprised that I don't want to say I'm surprised that he took it, because Henry will fight anybody anytime. But this is one of those guys you're like, damn, this is a really tough fight for what I gain out of it.
This is one of those. This is going to be I just look at it. Song Yadong is a very good wrestler. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying he's the level of Henry, but Henry's not the old Henry. He's not the guy that went to the Olympics and won the gold medal. But he's very smart, very intelligent fighter. But the age difference is something that's going to be, I think, apparent in this. I think the strength of Yadong and his power, because he's got good hands, and we've seen that Henry has gotten put on his can with some shots recently in his fights. That it's going to be a tough fight for him, and just he's getting older. Yeah, it's just one of those, when he walked away and he was gone for that amount of time, he wasn't getting better. And he wasn't even staying the same. And he came back, he was not quite what he was, at that time. So
you think he regrets that?
Yeah, I do. I mean, it's hard to, I think there was a lot of things going on with Henry that, he had a lot of things going on, and he just got tired. He got tired of some of the things that were happening, and he needed a break. and he decided that his break was he's going to drop his belts and fucking, say I'm retired. I think it went too long. I think he thought he could get back and get one of those championship fights, and the UFC kind of just kept him at arm's length, saying, yeah, we'll see, because he never seemed to be, hey, I'm back. And they were waiting for him to say it, and until he did, they didn't give him the fight. So
yeah,
it took too long.
Yeah, I thought the time off was too long.
Yeah.
Wait, 3 years?
Yeah.
Right
it's
in
a
the
long
peak,
time, man. Right in the middle of his prime.
Yep. It really shocked me that he stepped away.
Yeah. Well, you figure when he stepped away, he was taking on killers and just putting them down.
Yeah.
And he was that guy. He was that good. And again, when you are not training and you're not doing these things, it's not that you're not getting better. You're getting worse.
Yeah.
It is a perishable skill.
Yep.
And it is definitely perishable. I'm not saying you can't get it back to a point, but now when you're starting and you're trying to get back to what you were, that is so hard.
John and I ran to the car the other day to get something for my son in between his games.
You got a cramp.
No, my legs like locked up on me. I was like, this is horrible. This is disgusting. Like I felt so heavy. I felt like every time my body touched the ground, I was like,
see, that's me. If I run to the car, I get shit, I got a cramp.
It was disgusting. It was disgusting. So
it happens.
New Year, Dave. What are you drinking there, buddy? I heard you're on this New Year's resolution kick. What you got there?
Yeah, I have non-alc Sam Adams.
Non-alcoholic. Good for you, Dave.
Taste of beer. Yeah. I see. That's the only thing is, if I drink, I drink to get drunk. I don't drink like just to have a taste of beer. It just doesn't do anything for me.
But if you're not drinking, which I'm not right now because my wife's pregnant, then
my wife's pregnant, so I'm not drinking.
What would be the reason?
Just in case something happens, you can't drive. That's the reason. If something happens, if she has something that goes wrong, that's the reason. If I can't drive because I'm drunk, what the fuck do you do?
What Josh said, that's the reason.
If something happens to your wife while she's pregnant and you're drinking and you can't drive,
Dave, you made me a believer.
Josh, have you never heard of an Uber?
You got to wait for the Uber to get there. There's no time.
I'm just kidding. I'm just
kidding.
Yeah,
I mean, look, you live in the country too. You're in Round Rock, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then your address is what? Let me see. It's right here. I got it.
Thanks for that,
dude. All you do is, man, it's like on the farm. You just do it here, dude. Boom! Drop that bad boy out,
man. Drop it out. Throw her in the pool.
Exactly.
Be like, hey, go ahead, push it out. All right, what else you got for us, Dave?
All right, let's look at the last fight announcement here. We have is another return: Dominick Cruz versus Rob Font.
Yeah, I'm surprised by this. Not that I don't think it's actually a good fight. Mm-hmm. I think it is a good fight. I think Rob is a good opponent. With Dom, I just thought that Dom was looking for or waiting for one of those fights that legendary fights. Something with I thought him and Aldo was the one that you wanted to see was, and I thought the UFC would make that fight. And obviously they've had problems making it because I think from what I've heard in the past, Dominick wanted that fight. And
that's the fight.
But
I mean, I was surprised when I saw Rob Font. I'm like, is this his last fight?
I know.
In your career on this fight?
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was expecting the Jose Aldo fight. I was expecting, somewhere in there. I don't know. Yeah, pretty much the Jose Aldo fight.
Pretty much. Yeah, that's what I had heard. But
I could have maybe even went with the Henry Cejudo fight.
Yeah. Again.
Yeah.
Could have. But this is the one. And again, no disrespect at all. Rob Font, tough son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Great stand-up fight. Could be really interesting. Dominick has slowed down, and that's the one concern. Rob's got very good striking, but Dominick's got that absolutely, relentlessly strange style where he's in and out and back and forth and bouncing all around. Very difficult to deal with. So should be a fun fight.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, look, I don't know how active Dom is, if he's in the gym every single day, if he's
Yeah,
still
I don't know
grinding
either.
away. I'm not sure. When he was younger, he used to post videos of him, hitting the bag, being out in the parking lot at the gym, running on the treadmill. I don't see much of that anymore.
Well,
Well,
I think the one thing to look at with this kind of fight is, look, Dominick Cruz is one of the legends of the lighter weights, the bantamweight division. He is, in my opinion, if you're going to go with who's been the greatest, bantamweight fighter of all time, it's Dominick Cruz. And so,
I don't even think that's an argument.
I don't think so either. But
a guy who went away for 3 years comes back and wins the title back,
Yeah.
like it's.
But
Yeah.
you get a chance to watch him fight, if it is his last one, man, don't miss out on that.
Yeah, I mean the guys he beat all along the way, and
Oh,
some
yeah.
of them he just made it look easy. I mean, I don't know. I look at Dom as being the best bantamweight for sure. Some of these guys are gonna have a long ways to go to continue it on, but the division is also to me a little bit more stacked right now than it ever was.
Yeah, true.
But that being said, I'm not taking anything away from him. Dom to me he was dominant. Like I said, the time away, the knee injuries he had to deal with throughout his career, coming back and then still being able to regain his title and doing it the right way. The guy's he's been kind of a company man, but a little, he's been a company guy, and I love how he's played the game along the way. A lot of people don't like him. I like him, man. I think he's a cool dude. I think he speaks what's on his mind. He does take jabs at people, which is always
He does.
fun.
He does.
Always fun. There's a lot of hidden things that I've heard that he's done to people, that work on the broadcast team, and he's got him a couple times, but we'll leave that for another day. Let somebody else tell that story.
Well, it's funny because the very first time, I don't know if do you remember who Shad Smith was?
Yes.
Yeah.
Was he the one that fought Dwayne Ludwig in King of the Cage?
Yeah, I believe he did.
Yes.
Yeah. Shad, I think, was one of the first openly gay fighters and stuff.
I don't want to say it, but yeah.
So what? Doesn't matter. I don't give a shit. And you're gay. Who cares? But that was the first time I ever saw Dominic. I think it was at Total Combat. I saw Dominick Cruz fight, and he beat Shad Smith pretty easy. But the next fight that I saw him in I think it was his next fight. He fought for the WEC against Uriah Faber for the title. Mm-hmm. And everyone was talking about he was undefeated at the time. And this is this guy. And he got caught in a guillotine choke against Uriah Faber. Mm-hmm. And he had to tap. It was deep. He was in trouble. And right away it was like, oh, I guess he's not that good. And then he just went on a fucking tear, and he beat Uriah, and he fucking kept that title with the WEC forever. And then he, goes to the UFC with it. And, I mean, he's just had a remarkable career. Mm-hmm. And I'm being honest, the fight that he had against Cody Garbrandt that I did, where Cody won, and it was one of those, you watch that fight, Josh, and you will understand it when you watch it, is you're seeing a guy who is, they had a lot of words, and that was always Dominic and the way he did stuff, but Cody Garbrandt couldn't have fought a better fight that night. Mm-hmm. And everything that Dominic tried just was a little bit off, or just a little bit, slow, or it just didn't work for him. But man, I'll tell you what, he never stopped. And if there was one thing that I remember when I'm standing in the cage there watching him, I'm saying, dude, you are remarkable, because he just never quit. And he was getting hit with some big shots and just kept coming. And I was like, man, I got nothing but fucking respect for you. You are a fucking champion, no doubt about it. And he lost his championship there, but I mean, just an amazing, amazing fighter.
Yeah, he's been a stud, man. He's been a stud for a long duration. And it's sad that during his peak in his prime, he was out for that long.
Yeah.
I mean, he would have had probably at least 4 to 5 more title defenses during that 3 years that he was out.
Oh, yeah. I mean, because he did the Ultimate Fighter, because if that Ultimate Fighter that he was the coach for was the one, it took forever, because they did it live. All the fights were actually, nothing was taped. Those guys stayed in that fucking house forever. but I mean, the battles between him and Uriah and stuff, just the talk between them, it was pretty epic. So
what else you got for us, Dave?
All right, we'll wrap up in these 2 super chats here. So first one from Shiz Akhmedov again. Is Ankalaev really Alex Pereira's kryptonite on the ground? It takes one strike from Alex to make an impact. Did it to Izzy, Sean, and Yuri twice. If Alex fails to defend takedowns, will Ankalaev dominate?
Well, I guess the better question is, will Ankalaev wrestle? That's the better question.
That's it.
There's no doubt that Ankalaev is a better wrestler and probably could be his kryptonite. But will he wrestle? He's been publicly speaking about how he's going to knock out Alex Pereira. That's all he talked about. He hasn't said, I'm going to take you down and knock you out. He has said, I'm going to knock him out. He's even said he's going to knock him out on the feet.
Yeah. If you're looking at it and you're going to be honest about it, you're saying, look, how does Ankalaev lose the fight? He stands up with Alex Pereira and doesn't wrestle. That's how you lose that fight. You know, it's not about how do you win it. Everyone knows how do you win it. How do you lose it? Exactly what he has been saying he's going to do. I'm going to stand up with him and I will knock him out.
Yeah.
Bad choice. Bad choice. You never ever play into your opponent's strengths. Why are you going to fight a fight where I'm going to say, okay, what are you best at? That's what I'm going to go after.
Yeah.
It's dumb. It's dumb. Never play another man's game.
I mean, you
Make him play
Sean
yours.
Strickland. Sean Strickland tried to stand with him. Sean didn't try to take him down, and look what happened. Izzy, same thing. Izzy's one of the best kickboxers that ever stepped foot inside the cage. And he's been knocked out twice by him, and he's lost to him 3 of the 4 times or whatever they fought. It just doesn't make any sense. Take the best thing that you have, which is probably your wrestling more so than your kickboxing, and utilize it. I'm not saying you got to take him down every round, but if you take him down once or twice as the fight goes on, it's gonna be harder for him. He'll be more concerned about the takedowns,
which is going to slow down his offense.
The hands will be a little bit more defensive wrestling. Versus
his hands are low, anyways.
Yeah, they are. They are. But I think if you get into that mix though of baiting the wrestling, that'll open up your hands, and the potential of knocking him out will actually be a lot more. It'll be a lot greater. To answer the question though, if he wrestles, yes, he can be Alex Pereira's kryptonite. But I doubt he'll wrestle. He said too much stuff, and I think he truly believes that he can knock him out on the feet. But I think if he does knock him out on the feet, he needs to wrestle first. He needs to open up the wrestling a little bit to let the hands go freely, because Alex will be then a little bit more hesitant to focus on taking on the defensive takedowns versus letting the hands go. So what else you got for us, Dave?
All right, last super chat here from Lazybed. Jacoby Smith, former OK's street.
It's Oklahoma State wrestling.
Oh, sorry. I don't know anything about that. Debuting Saturday, hot welterweight prospect. Any insights from his time at AKA, Josh? Big John, Fatima Klein, W, incoming ?
Does Jacoby Smith is a stud, man. Very, very good fighter. Likes to box, good wrestling, big slams, very explosive. He's down at Fortis MMA now with Kyle Crutchmere and Nikki Piccini. So they're all down there together at Fortis. I have not been down to Fortis to see him train and what he's been working on lately, but I've talked to Kyle Crutchmere. He looks fantastic, man. From what I understand, he looks really good. He's ready for this fight. I don't really see how Preston Parsons beats him, to be honest, but your debut is something that no one has control over but you. So making your debut in the biggest organization in the world under the bright lights,
not easy.
Luckily, this is going to be at the Apex, so it'll be like all your other fights that you had before, like in small little venues with 200 people. So that'll feel good. That'll feel like home.
It'll feel just like home.
Yeah, it'll feel just like he's fought in all these little small events. So
yeah, but he wrestled in front of thousands.
There was more fans at Oklahoma State wrestling there will be inside that arena. So he'll be fine. It just comes down to him being aggressive. Sometimes he likes to stand on his back foot and let the fight develop, which is good, especially if you're a young fighter. But he's got to make sure he stays on track of what he does best. He wrestles. He's got heavy hands. And if he gets on top, he can do some nasty ground and pound. So I'm looking forward to seeing him fight. It's a big deal. All right, guys. Well, hey, I want to thank you guys so much for continuing to follow us. Go to WayneInMerch.com, pick up some of our apparel, hoodies, sweaters, shirts, all that stuff. It is getting cold. It is 18 degrees outside right now, John.
Oh, man. I'm in a blazing glory compared to you. I'm at 22.
You're at 22.
I think
It's 18
22 right
degrees
now.
outside.
Jesus.
Tomorrow
as hell.
Tomorrow afternoon, hopefully after the kids get out of school, we'll be having about, they said, about an inch or two of snow tonight or tomorrow night. And then on Thursday, it's supposed to snow up to 6 to 8 inches.
Oof.
Yeah. And that'll snow probably into like Friday morning.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah. You know what that means, right? So Thursday, I think, is one of the CFB college football games. I'll be indoors all day doing nothing. Friday, the other college football game is
I'll be indoors all day.
I'll be indoors all day doing
I
nothing.
will be out with my animals, feeding them, getting everything done. That's because I'm a man, mister. I can handle the cold.
I'm not sure that word means what you think it means. All right. Hey, guys, I want to thank you guys so much for continuing to support us. This show is brought to you by BetUS. YouTube 150 is the promo code. Use that YouTube 150 as the promo code. Also, OnlyFans. I want to thank you guys for continuing to support us. Bam.
Look at that.
OnlyFans and Drink Element. Use the link down below. For the bonus package, you get a free bonus package with every purchase with the link down below for Element, the best hydration company in the business. And look, man, I'm just glad to be home.
Glad to be home.
So glad to sleep in my own bed. So glad to walk into my own house. So glad to sit in my own studio. And Dave, have you been back to California?
No.
No.
Med yawn. Sorry about that.
When you're right in the middle of your first bite of your food, the waitress goes, "How is everything?"
I know exactly. Every time, man, without fail.
Yeah, every single time.
No California for me, man. I'm done so.
Oh, look at that.
Let me give you some. Let me give you guys a little feedback on this. Okay, literally, gas was. I didn't get any gas under $4. That was one. Nothing under $4. Several places was like $5.60, $5.80, $5.90, somewhere in there. I went to go buy. When I buy this big package of bacon. Same package that you get at Costco here is the same package I would have got at Costco there. It was $12 here, $11.88 here, and it was $28 over there.
No way.
Every grocery store I went to didn't have eggs.
Really?
None of them had eggs.
That's wild.
Albertsons didn't have eggs. Safeway didn't have eggs. None of the grocery stores had eggs. No idea why. Didn't ask. There was a Ralph's I went to down in San Diego. There was a Vons I went to. No eggs. None. Bizarre. Yeah, and my son loves eggs. So I was like, we always do eggs in the morning before games and practices and stuff. No eggs. So I had to go.
You can tell him to come to Tennessee. I'll give him free eggs.
Yeah, I had to go buy those like already peeled hard-boiled eggs, and that's what we ate.
Oh, yeah. Starbucks style.
Yeah, pretty much like Starbucks style. So I was like, oh, but you don't know what kind of eggs they are. They probably didn't come from a farm. They were made in a test tube.
Bill Gates eggs.
Bill Gates eggs. You hear that guy? That guy's talking about how the vaccines are not good anymore.
What?
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he says that the vaccines are no good anymore, but he's creating a new vaccine that goes up your nose. It's a nasal spray for the COVID and for flu.
Dude,
like, this guy's fucking wild.
Pretty soon it'll be in your McDonald's burgers, and you won't have to do any effort.
That dude during those 2 years of COVID, 2020, 2021, and into 2022, $500 million. He made $500 million. Yeah, that's insane.
Jeez, I made about 0.0000001% of that.
Yeah. Anyway,
I always like the fact that you got a guy that looks like Bill Gates telling you what's healthy.
Mm-hmm. The greatest thing ever, though, John, was when they made the meme with the belly, like the boy meme, and basically,
it was Elon Musk that posted that, right?
Yeah, Elon Musk posted the meme with the pregnant man, but he put it next to Bill Gates, side by side picture. It was awesome. Watch, Dave's gonna pull this up, and it was just hilarious. I was like, bro, you're taking health advice from a guy who doesn't look like he's ever stepped on a treadmill.
No.
But it was freaking, look at, there it is.
Oh, it's too good.
Oh man, you just gotta add the glasses, man. It was money.
That's it.
Dude, one of the biggest trolls I think I've ever seen, because I follow Elon on Twitter, is hilarious. He's such a troll. I love it.
He's such a troll.
Just thrashing on dudes. He's like a Dave. He's like a Dave. Dave can get you with some good stuff. I try to stay out of the fire sometimes because he's great he's one of those guys. He's great on the computer. Podcast Dave is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but you see him in person, not the same guy.
What does that mean?
All right, guys. I want to thank you guys so much. And everyone, Happy New Year. Happy 2025. We're into the new year. Let's make it a great one for everyone. Continue to support our channel. I want to thank you guys so much. If you want to support our channel, support our sponsors. And John, take us away.
Yeah. One thing I want to say for all the people out in California, especially in the Santa Monica Palisades, I know it's on fire now. Please be safe. Take care of your animals. Make sure that you're not hurt. And for everyone out there, we will see you.